Good morning, welcome back. We've got a pile of work to get through today, and obviously I'm not going to record all of it, but we've got something a little bit different, and I just thought it would be nice to share a really, really simple, straightforward job with you. This, believe it or not, is, I know we're called Little Phonery, but we don't just do phones. This is the control board from a young man's model railway that he's building. He's had a bit of trouble with the 12 volt input, and he enlisted the help of one of his parents, but they couldn't quite sort it out. So I think what we'll do is I'm not even going to bother taking you over to the assembly table, because as you can see I've just been given this. That's all I've been given. So we'll just have to see what's going on, see if we can source it for the young man. Normally I wouldn't use my microscope for a job like this. This is quite a big, it's a huge board. This is not what we're used to working with. And I think you can see there that what has happened, the note that's kind of come with this is that it works if you push it down. So obviously I think there's just a bit of a problem with the soldering, and I can see that they've that I think what's happened is they've tried to glue it into place with a glue gun by the looks of things. And I think if we look here, I'm pretty sure that what's happened here is that actually there is glue, and hot glue from a glue gun is just plastic. It's literally just rods of plastic. And I think what's happened is they've accidentally insulated it. So I'm assuming that sort of all these parts came ready soldered, and when it came to putting this fella on, they've not had the tools to do it, which is fine. And I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to get in there without burning anything. So I think what I'll do is, first off, let's take this fella off. I'm just really conscious that that you can see. Let's take this fella off. Let's turn it upside down. And let's remove the solder from these legs. Okay. Pretty sure this is going to be nice and fast. I'm going to turn my soldering iron up just a bit, because just to be safe and to preserve the components that are well fitted. Yeah, sort of, if you look on the back there, I don't think any, sort of like little plastic alignment rods for the 12 volt DC port, just to make sure they're in place. And I'm guessing this board is designed for various different types of port if you wanted to. Hence sort of resting pads on one side, and then holes for the stalks of components on the other. This looks like quite a cool kit, actually. But let's get this off so we don't have that that plastic thing in the way. Little kind of chock block thing that it is. Let's move back so we are closer to our extraction fan. See, I'm learning. I've actually switched it on. Don't know how. Oh, that's actually, it's not got a very high melting point at all, so we'll just use some soldering wick to mop that off, and then we should be able, let's turn the temperature right up, make this a bit more effective. And just watch that solder get soaked up. Until there's nothing left to grip the component onto the board. Look at that, nice and tidy. Can you see this? Just watch it go, it's very satisfying. And hopefully now that'll be loose from the other side. Should be. If not, I might use a bit of hot air to just sort of drop it out. I don't think there's anything left. It's so hard when I've not got a clamp that I can use for something this size. This is the problem when everything you deal with is like micro size. Try and mop up anything that might be holding it in. And let's turn the temperature down because we are going to need it kind of a sensible spreading temperature soon. I'll tell you what, I actually intend to, I will show you at some point how I think there's a bit of glue on there. We're going to turn on our other hot air gun. Maybe my nozzle's too small, I don't know, but to be honest, this is just about heating up that glue and getting it out of. There you go. Ouch. Let's get that out of there. Because it's holding something in and we don't want it to. Blech. Ah! I've glued my picker to my wire wool. Having a bit of trouble getting this out actually. I wonder if they've glued the other side. I hope not. I think I'm just going to it's quite a bulky chap. I think let's just see if we can we not get this out? See, I just need to get this off. All I'm trying to do is give myself enough space to work. That's all. Not sure if I need a bigger nozzle. I'm going to use a bigger nozzle. And I am going to desolder this properly. But how? Because I've got nothing that I can hold a board this size with. So this is going to be a matter of, I'm just going to wedge a knife under here. Just wedge a craft knife. And then I'm just going to put pressure on. I mean, we're at 380 degrees. I would hope that that's hot enough to come on. Is the solder even melting? Should be. I just don't want to be... Ah, it is. It's coming out slowly. It is coming out slowly. We're getting there. Okay. Let's carry on because this plan is clearly working. Sorry if you're out of focus. I don't really need focus for this. I'm just getting the blighter out. Is that it? You off? Are you off? Or have you been pushed back in? Let's just try pushing you out. There we go. It is actually now loose. So that's good. Let's push you out. Sorry, I know you can't see anything. This is... no, I want to bring you out, not further in. Can it... See, it's so big. So we're literally just doing this to give ourselves space to work on the DC. That's it. So that's off with a lot of glue. There is a lot of glue. And this is also, yep, a lot of glue. Let's use the soldering iron for this bit. We're just going to desolder. Can you see this? Just going to desolder the feet. Hopefully. Yeah. They actually seem quite firmly on for those. Oh, I see what's happened here. Okay. Ah! Glue everywhere. What a nightmare. Ah, well. I'm going to have to turn this right up because... So 480 degrees, let's just get this chap off and get him sorted as fast as possible. So that is coming up. I'm trying to keep it lifted whilst the solder sets. Oh dear. The hot glue doesn't smell good. So whilst the solder is wet, get it under there. Get off there. Right, we are off. Let's get you cleaned up. Get my soldering iron cleaned up as well. I don't actually have one of these lying around, so I've got to rescue the one that they have. Let's try... Shall we try and clean this off with alcohol? Alcohol breaks down most... Oh my god, I've got strings of hot glue everywhere. I'm covered in it. glue is not always the answer. Right, at the very least, what we're going to do is set the glue and peel the glue off. That, I think, is the way forward. And then we're going to reconnect these pads. We're going to re-tin these pads. And we're going to get the new jack fitted. And this will be a nice, quick job. Just something a little bit out of the norm, rather than just phones and tablets and MacBooks all day. That should be alright. Now, wait, this is still sticky. This is still, let's do the same with this, because the alcohol obviously cools down the hot glue faster. Stops it from being quite so sticky and makes it a little bit easier for us to work with. I mean, technically this approach, I suppose, could work if you clamp down your DC port first and then put the glue on, but it looks to me like the glue has got under the feet, which are the contacts, and because it's plastic, it's like literally just rods of plastic that you heat up until they melt, and then you apply that to whatever it is that you want to glue, in inverted commas. Obviously plastic's an insulator. This is why we wear rubber gloves when we're dealing with electricity and such. So if you manage to get plastic on the contact before contact is made, then you're insulating your board from the electricity. This is a little bit bent, but it'll all get pushed back into place. We're only a few minutes away from getting this done, and then this gentleman can go back to enjoying the fruits of his labour. At the end of the day, I know we're called the little phonery, but if we can do something to help, we will. It doesn't all have to be phones. There we go, we're getting there. It doesn't all have to be phones and smartwatches and tablets and computers. If we can help, we'll help. And I think if you are the kind of young man that has put a lot of time into building your own model train set, you know, there are a lot of kids that haven't done anything particularly useful over lockdown. So it's just a pleasure to give you a hand, really. Like I say, I wouldn't normally need the microscope for this, but on the basis that I don't have a strong, decent camera for you to see it all, this is the best way to kind of show you what I'm doing. I mean, the actual the component looks healthy. It doesn't look like it's damaged in any way. It's just been covered in plastic, which is an insulator. So let's clean up these pads. Always start from scratch. Because it just means you know what you're dealing with, really. Pardon me. Do you know what? I've actually just bought some new soldering wick. Let's give it a try. Let's test it. The thing about soldering wick is it's all about the weave. If the weave is too tight, it doesn't actually soak up the solder. And that, I'm afraid, looks like the problem here. Yeah, let's go back to our old soldering wick. This made by a company called Well Solo, and quite honestly, I think I'll be sticking. Look at that, the difference. Just soaks it straight up. Pad clean in seconds. Clean. I'm not even like using a clean piece of wick, to be honest. This is a bit manky and it's still soaking it up. Clean pad. And finally, melts straight away, soaks it straight up. Clean pad. There we go. We've got bloody extraction fan, James. Right. We've got a good place to start from. Now, because this is slightly bent, we're going to... It's just going to take a little bit of manipulation. Glue! Glue everywhere. So I'm going to use... Let's turn our temperature down. Let's fasten the rear pads first, can you see? You see that? So that's our rear pads. Now, this is where it's probably going to get a bit tricky. So it's anchored down mostly. What I'm going to actually do is push this front pad down with the soldering iron. No, that's not worked. Let's... There you go. Just get it spread about a bit. That's held down. This one's going to be a bit of a blighter because it's pushed right out. But so that's definitely on tight. Oh, glue! Oh, you can't get hot. You can't get hot glue off something once it's on, can you? Hey, gad. And let's just make sure there's... This is really, really well covered, so it's absolutely held down. Same with that side, and then we'll put that little connector back on. So that's some. And then let's pop this little chap back in here. Little wire input. Push it through so the feet are out. It's nice and flat against the board. And we're nearly done. So hard to keep this still. Oh, I sat on my wire, that's why. Ay, ay, ay. There you go. So that is everything connected as it should be. Let's give you a bit of a clean. Do you like it when something different comes in? Nice clean board. Let's get all your muck off. Let's have no more glue on you. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a model railway to test it with. But, do you know, that's it. Nice, clean joints, all connected, and I do hope that this young man can get back to enjoying the fruits of his labour. I think it's nice that there are still kids out there that actually try to make things. So good on you. Hope it's I hope I've done you proud. Take care.